You've probably heard of names like Harmony Korine, Dax Shepard, or Bobcat Goldthwait, famous figures known for their unique styles and distinct personalities. But have you ever wondered why they were banned from appearing on late-night talk shows? Join me as we uncover shocking stories and the surprising reasons why these big names were removed from television platforms. This will be an unexpected and unbelievable journey, but it's completely true. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any exciting videos coming up next. You're probably familiar with famous figures like Harmony Korine, Dax Shepard, and Bobcat Goldthwait. But do you know why they were banned from appearing on late-night talk shows? Let's dive into the shocking reasons behind why these well-known individuals were removed from television platforms. It's hard to believe, but it's completely true. Vivica A. Fox found herself in an embarrassing situation on Jimmy Kimmel Live when the conversation took an unexpected turn. Kimmel began by highlighting her notable career, but then casually alluded to her role as Star Jones's bridesmaid. This remark didn't sit well with Fox, and she quickly challenged Kimmel, making it clear that she didn't find the comment funny. Kimmel attempted to ease the tension, but continued bringing up Jones, escalating the situation. Fox, frustrated, stood up and walked off the stage, leaving Kimmel in awkward silence. Years later, Kimmel revealed that Fox was the one guest he would never welcome back. Oprah Winfrey and David Letterman shared a long-standing, puzzling feud that no one could fully explain. The dispute began in 1989 when Oprah appeared on Late Night with David Letterman, but decided not to return despite multiple invitations from him. In 2005, she finally came back to Late Show to address their differences, but the exact source of their rift remained unclear. In 2010, Letterman suggested it might have stemmed from a lunch event where he had casually told a server that Oprah would pay for her bill, which she found offensive. However, in 2013, Oprah clarified in a conversation that her initial discomfort with Late Night stemmed from the uncontrollable crowd, which she believed Letterman had promoted for the unfavorable event. This incident led her to avoid the show for many years. Eventually, the misunderstanding was cleared up, bringing an end to their long-running and mysterious feud. Martin Lawrence was permanently banned from Saturday Night Live in 1994 after pushing the boundaries of comedy with his bold humor. He brought his signature energy as a host, but during his introduction, he veered off script and launched into an unscripted rant criticizing women's physical appearances. His remarks were so crude and extreme that they left SNL staff, including executive producer Lorne Michaels, stunned. The segment was completely removed from all rebroadcasts of the show, and Lawrence was banned from ever hosting again. His unrestrained comedy went too far. Kelsey Grammer abruptly walked off the set of Piers Morgan Tonight after an image of his ex-wife, Camille Grammer, appeared during the show's opening tribute. Grammer had clearly stated beforehand that he didn't want to discuss his past marriage, but the unexpected snapshot left him visibly uncomfortable. He rushed off just before the scheduled interview was set to begin. Piers Morgan was taken aback by the reaction and took to Twitter to express his skepticism about Grammer's unprofessional behavior. Grammer's publicist defended him, asserting that Morgan was responsible for the lack of consideration in the response. Morgan then banned Grammer from the show, but the actor showed limited inclination to let it affect his compensation arrangements. Kathy Griffin became infamous for her controversial actions, including stripping on live television and posting a photo of President Donald Trump with his decapitated head. These incidents culminated in her being banned from several mainstream TV shows. She was prohibited from appearing on late-night programs due to numerous inappropriate behaviors. Although the ban was later lifted, she still faced hostility and criticism for her edgy, often controversial remarks. Even the Ellen DeGeneres show became off-limits after Griffin accused Ellen of neglecting to support women. Ellen denied the ban, explaining that not welcoming Griffin was a matter of personal preference. Griffin acknowledged this unspoken industry norm, revealing that she had been subtly overlooked for years. Joan Rivers' career flourished thanks to Johnny Carson, who frequently invited her to The Tonight Show and often had her fill in as a guest host. She credited Carson for her success and remained loyal to him. However, in the 1980s, everything changed when she realized she was never truly considered a permanent substitute for Carson, despite years of dedication. Rivers accepted an offer from Fox to host her own late-night show. When Carson found out, he severed all ties with her and banned her from The Tonight Show. Rivers believed Carson saw her as his possession, especially as a woman, and couldn't tolerate her defying him. Joan never spoke to Carson again, and despite Jay Leno taking over, the ban lasted for years. Ultimately, she returned to the show. The long-standing feud between Jay Leno and Howard Stern began in 1995 when Stern's appearance on The Tonight Show erupted into chaos. Known for his boundary-pushing jokes, Stern took the stage with two women in swimsuits and encouraged them to hug him. He constantly interrupted Leno's show and interfered with guests like image commentators Gene Sissel and Roger Ebert. Leno, furious, nearly walked off the set and later reached out to Stern's broadcast team, blaming him for going too far and not controlling himself. Stern frequently mocked Leno in interviews, accusing him of stealing material. Leno often remained silent, occasionally questioning Stern's relevance. The conflict reignited in 2004 when Leno hired John Melendez, a former member of Stern's team, who harshly blamed Leno for literary theft. Although Leno invited Melendez to The Tonight Show to settle their differences, Stern refused to continue the rivalry. The feud between Jay Leno and Howard Stern spanned years, starting with those controversial actions on The Tonight Show in 1995. If you want to learn more about this tension and the reasons behind their famous conflict, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the exciting upcoming videos. Jackie Mason's career was nearly derailed by a misunderstanding on The Ed Sullivan Show. While performing on stage, Mason realized Ed Sullivan had signaled that he had only 2 minutes left due to President Lyndon Johnson's speech. In a humorous response, Mason gestured back to Sullivan with his fingers. However, Sullivan misinterpreted the gesture as an obscene sign, thinking Mason had flipped him the bird, which horrified him. Immediately, Sullivan blacklisted Mason from the show and revoked his agreement for 6 more appearances. This blow severely impacted Mason's career, making it difficult for him to secure television performances. After 2 years, Sullivan acknowledged his mistake, lifted the ban, and publicly apologized, allowing Mason to return. Hugh Grant found himself at the center of an unexpected late-night debate in 2012, when Jon Stewart revealed the guest he disliked the most on The Daily Show, and the answer might surprise you. Stewart claimed that despite interviewing everyone from top celebrities to world leaders, Grant stood out for all the wrong reasons. Stewart told Stephen Colbert that Grant spent most of his time on the show protesting Generation X, as though he had more urgent issues to address. The situation escalated when Stewart aired a clip from one of Grant's movies. Unimpressed with the film, Grant expressed his frustration, prompting Stewart to respond, "Then make a better movie." Stewart made it clear that Grant would never be welcome back. After Stewart's comments went public, Grant took to Twitter to admit that his own irritability had caused him to lose control. In 2009, he acknowledged that Stewart's criticism was a fair exchange, turning an important late-night moment into a rare display of Stewart's candid honesty and Grant's self-awareness. This showed that even Hollywood stars have their off days, but when Jon Stewart calls you out, the reality tends to sting. Spring Breakers experienced a notorious incident on Late Show with David Letterman in the late 1990s, praised for Letterman's inconsistent expulsion in the context of an uncontrollable, drug-influenced saga. Karine was infamous for her strange on-air appearances, but a backstage event crossed the line before their interview. Letterman caught Karine rummaging through a Mariel Street handbag, whether out of curiosity or another motive. This action shocked Letterman, and he immediately ordered Karine to leave. As a result, Karine was banned from the show for many years. In 2013, Letterman recounted the story in an interview with James Franco, while Karine recalled it differently, claiming it was the result of being pushed into the backstage environment. She eventually became more reserved, and Letterman forgave her, lifting the ban and accepting her back. Gary Busey brought complete chaos to Howard Stern's show with his erratic behavior during his appearance. He stunned everyone by suddenly giving co-host Robin a tight hug, then staring intensely at Howard Stern, chasing him around the studio while trying to wrestle him to the ground. His absurd antics were both funny and concerning. Busey later described his actions as one of 13 personality traits, referring to it as pesky little boy who gets easily agitated. The bizarre conference culminated in Busey being banned from the show for many years. However, in 2017, he returned to discuss his 2001 satellite broadcast image. That moment remains one of the most infamous incidents of the show, showcasing Busey's unpredictable temper. Dax Shepard faced an uncontrollable and chaotic challenge with his image on late-night television with Conan O'Brien while struggling with his drinking habits. At the time, Dax suffered from total memory loss during the initial exchange with the film crew. He woke up in his hotel room with no recollection of the previous night's events, leaving him confused and even discovering an alien-like figure in his cage. With just 20 minutes until showtime, Dax couldn't remember any anecdotes he had planned to share on air. He struggled to respond to Conan's questions, accidentally ruining a tea set, which only made the situation worse. As a result, he was banned from appearing on the show for several years. After getting sober, Dax returned to Conan's show and humorously reflected on that disastrous moment. Conan took it in stride, noting that many guests tend to appear drunk, and in the end, the incident was resolved. Conan O'Brien was exonerated when he revealed himself as the center of a late-night TV controversy in 2010. The dispute, notably aired, erupted between him and Jay Leno. The conflict stemmed from a 2004 agreement where NBC promised Conan that he would take over The Tonight Show in 2009. However, at that time, Leno reluctantly stepped down to appease both hosts. NBC introduced Jay Leno's show during primetime, but disappointing viewership forced the network to shift Leno's program to Conan's time slot. The 30-minute delay in The Tonight Show significantly dropped Conan's viewership. Inevitably, NBC had to renegotiate, and Leno resumed hosting The Tonight Show, though he faced criticism for not stepping down gracefully. Conan firmly declared he would never allow Leno on his TBS show. Despite the proposal, the disagreement became a notable example of both business and personal management. Bobcat Goldthwait's appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno turned into complete chaos when he set his seat on fire during a live broadcast. This act was no accident. Bobcat had hidden flammable liquid and a spark in his long sleeve. As the fire spread, Jay Leno and guest Lauren Hutton quickly rushed to put it out with water. The incident infuriated Leno, and as a result, Bobcat was permanently banned from the show and faced criminal charges for arson. He was fined $3,880 to cover the cost of replacing the seat and was required to film a public service announcement on fire safety. Despite the serious consequences, Bobcat shrugged it off, dismissing himself as a fire enthusiast and instead calling himself a follower of Saturnian philosophy. Though his reckless stunt, it only solidified his place in the annals of nocturnal television history. Bill Hicks was praised for his bold and unconventional sense of humor. He made 11 memorable appearances on Late Night with David Letterman from 1984 to 1993. However, his 12th appearance on the Late Night show was recently re-evaluated and deemed overly controversial for CBS. Despite a positive audience reaction, his performance was separated from the broadcast due to the sensitive topics he addressed, including anti-abortion activists, the Easter Bunny, and the cross. One notable joke questioned whether Christians would still cherish the cross if Jesus resurrected while Hicks was silently battling pancreatic cancer. Hicks would assert his legacy in 1994, and in 2009, Letterman convinced his parents to attend a tribute. Ultimately, Letterman acknowledged this uncomfortable moment by honoring Hicks posthumously, giving him the recognition he truly deserved. What do you think about the stories behind Hicks's performances and how Letterman honored him after his passing? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more exciting videos. See you in the next one.